Hey everyone, welcome back to another round of Tuesday Night Legacy, where we showcase Magic's most powerful formats. It's been a couple minutes. Things are pretty busy in life right now, but I want to make sure that we still get out these videos. So here we go with Pauper, round 1 from May 27th. All right, let's talk about these decks. We have Rob on the left playing Blue-Black Curve. This is a control deck with only two win conditions, the Gurmag Angler and the Serpentine Curve. Serpentine Curve, of course, creating that fractal creature where it gets a number of X counters, a number of +1/+1 counters, where it's instant and sorceries in exile and grave. This deck loves to cast instants and sorceries. We, of course, have cantrips of Ponder and Preordain. It also runs pieces of the puzzle. It also has a lot of removal, like Chainer's Edict and Cast Down, as well as a bunch of counter spells to back up if it can't be removed with traditional means. Countering it gets it out of the way. Also has the one of Soul Manipulation that you can either counter a creature spell or get your fish back if it's been taken care of already. And if all else fails, of course, it's got Stream of Thought to be able to shuffle cards back into your library to keep you going in the mid to late game. On the right, we have Max piloting the Cycle Storm deck. We've seen this on camera a couple times before. This deck is all about cycling creatures. Either the free cycling, like a Street Wraith, or semi-free, have to pay some life, or all of these creatures that have cycling 1, getting them into the graveyard. Every time the actual win condition is with this card, Dranith Stinger. So every time that you cycle, it deals 1 damage, and the engine of the deck is with the card Songs of the Damned, which will add a ton of mana back into your mana pool, and then Reaping the Graves. So for each spell that you cast, you can pull another creature back from your graveyard with that storm count. And hopefully you're drawing enough cards with all of the cycling that you can continue to play Songs of the Damned and Reaping the Graves while killing your opponent with the Dranith Stingers in play. So a typical combo versus control. Not always good for the combo player, but we'll see how this one plays out. So we're going to have Max start off here. We are just a little bit awkward on the camera angle. I apologize for that. I think the camera got knocked when they just started this match, so we're not going to be seeing any graveyards this game, which is a little ironic, but we'll try and keep track of it as best as we can. So the first couple turns here, we're just seeing a bunch of land drops. Nothing super exciting happening. Rob with the choice here, just passing it back. Typically what a control player does. He might have something like Exclude in his hand, which would be something he could cast right now. We're just seeing a ton of cycling from Max. 3 Street Wraiths to the grave. Max was nice enough to take out his phone and try and keep track of the life counter, but I don't think he realized that the brightness on the phone was just a little bit too much, so we can't actually see the life totals here. Max deploying the Dranith Stinger. So now at least he has his win condition in play. A Songs of the Damned. Oh, there's going to be a Cast Down in response to the Songs. We're seeing 4 black mana in Max's mana pool, with 2 spells cast so far. So, okay, this black die, black and white die, is the mana count in the pool, and the green die is the storm count. So we're at storm count 6, up to 14 mana. This is all black mana. Songs of the Damned only makes black mana. Casting Reaping the Graves. Pulling back all of these cards. He had to pay a ton of life to get all of those Street Wraiths into the graveyard, but that's okay. Oh, all the way up to 24 mana, so we're down to 19. I sped this up to 3 times speed, trying to make it a little bit faster as the combo player goes off. We're seeing the cycled Ash Barons was able to go and get that mountain so that Max could actually play this Dranith Stinger again. Up to storm count 9. So Max pretty much exactly where he wants to be. Rob's tapped out of blue mana, so no counterspells coming here. Seeing an island, another Ash Barrens being cycled there, getting the island. Can't play it, but that doesn't stop you from cycling the Ash Barrens. Just these small ticks down. The Drannith Stinger really does want probably 2 in play to absolutely guarantee the win here. I think we're seeing another Reap. Pulled back a ton of creatures. So with the storm count being at 10 right now, being able to pull back 10 cycled creatures. Cycling even more, and that was actually enough to get him. So we are on to game 2 here. Max up a game. Being able to ping out Rob with the Cycle Storm combo. So Rob starting the game here just with a Ponder Pass. I think he went for the shuffle there, didn't like anything on the top. 2 blue mana, open from the counter spell deck. So Max may be thinking about just cycling here instead of casting spells. No, he goes for the Stinger. Kind of calling Rob's bluff. And all it was a frantic inventory. Just draw a card. Didn't actually have answer to it. But he did have a sorcery speed answer. The Chainer's Edict is going to make Max sacrifice a creature. It does have that Flashback 7, which isn't particularly relevant in this format, but it's better to have Flashback than to not have Flashback, even if it is Flashback 7. Could play Diabolic Edict. I'm not actually sure if that's a common or not. Instant Speed Edict over a Sorcerer Speed Edict. We're seeing a Frantic Inventory, a second one, getting to draw 2 cards, and a second Chainer's Edict, getting rid of that creature. Looks like Max has got an Ash Barrens. Looks like he's got a lot of land in hand. He's also got the white Drannith, which is the healer, having you gain a ton of life. It's the opposite direction. So if you get one of these guys in play and go off, you're just going to gain a ton of life. Oh, we're seeing the Serpentine Curve getting fired off here. Apologize. So the Serpentine Curve being cast. It's a 5 cast, and then it is exiled to play the Gurmag Angler. Rob looking to end the game here pretty quickly. Having 10 power on board, trying to come across. But I'm not sure. Kind of making Max have the combo. And we see a 5 cast Horror of the Broken Lands. So this is a 4/4, not quite enough to trade with either of these guys. It does get pumped massively if you can cycle off. So that might have been Max's plan here. Although Rob attacking with both of these creatures. Oh, no blocks declared. Just takes 6 from this guy. And then attacks for another 10. We see a Pyroblast getting rid of the Fractal creature. So only taking 5. Probably down to 5 here. We're seeing another Serpentine Curve right back. Back is a 6/6 this time. And Max is going to scoop it up. We're going to go to game 3. So a Ponder to start the game from Rob. Just Baron Moore from Max. Coming into play tapped. Is a very good land. It is uncommon from the Modern Masters set. No, the Modern Horizons set. But it is a common in the set that it was printed. I'm not going to try and make a fool of myself and try and guess at what that set is. You can tell me what it is in the comments if you want. We're seeing a cycle here of the Horror of the Broken Lands. I don't know what that is. It's probably an Ash Barrens if he's getting a land. Going for that mountain. This is a one-of mountain. Don't want to see red that often, but when you want to see it, you really want to see it. Since it is the card that wins the game. So a Drannith Stinger deployed. Just paying 1. Probably, oh, here's a Dark Ritual. Maybe some big plays. That was an Agony Warp from Rob out of the sideboard. That creature getting both -3/-0 and -0/-3. Only the second line of text being relevant. Bringing it down to 0 toughness, which state-based effects kill it. I think legally to cast this card, you have to choose legal targets for both. I'm not entirely certain if you chose one and it became illegal, if the other one would fizzle. We're seeing a Cabal Ritual. Not super great without what you call it, Threshold in the graveyard, but still nets you 1 mana. I think we're seeing a Reap here. Yeah, so a Songs of the Dam was cast. Up to 5 mana, a Reap, which is costing 4 mana, or 3 mana, excuse me. So down to 2, looks like a fizzle there. Yep. So I think Max just put all the cards back in his hand, hoping next turn to maybe go off. No, it doesn't. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Doesn't look like he's got a ton to do. Another Cycled Ash Barrens, probably getting a Swamp, okay. Yeah, he doesn't really want to see blue all that much. There's only a couple blue cards in the deck with Repository Scab and the Mystical Teachings. Mystical Teachings is still very important, though. Going to get you your Reaping the Graves or your Songs if you need it. And we're going to do a little bit of mid-game Drago, Drago, Drago. And Rob looks at his hand for a long time. Discards a card and says go. Discards a Gurmag Angler. We're seeing just lands come down, drawing cards, passing. A couple Lotus Petals getting put down. Still passing. I guess each of these players thinks that if one acts, then the other one can react. That was a hilarious play that didn't really go anywhere. A Soul Manipulation to pull back the Gurmag Angler that was discarded due to hand size. And then he discards it again. All right, Rob. Max deciding to go off here. Maybe. A Dark Ritual getting 3 mana to the pool. And just pass? I don't... Okay. All right, we're seeing a Gurmag Angler cast here. Exiling the graveyard. Rob really deep on black mana. Only has the 1 blue, which isn't great for him. He actually doesn't have a counterspell in his deck that he can cast right now. But he can cast down. So that's basically his only option at the moment. Alright, so we're seeing Max do some fun stuff here. Songs gets him up to 12 black mana, 16 mana. Alright, so there are a ton of creatures in the graveyard that we just couldn't see. So a Reap is going to get him all those creatures back. And then it looks like we're going to get that Stinger into play here. Rob is going to cast down the Stinger. Max back at a situation where he had a second Stinger in hand. So getting to use that Lotus Petal, sacrificing it, get some red mana, and now he's going to start to go off. Rob completely tapped out, so the only thing that can happen is Max fizzles here, down to 5 mana. We saw he has a, what is that? Not a Pyroclasm, but a Pyroblast in hand. In case something crazy happens here and he needs that last Lotus Petal. The Mystical Teachings. Going and getting... I think it went and got the... not the Haunted Misery. Or was it the Haunted Misery? No, I'm not sure. I think it was the Reaping the Graves. Yeah, casting a Songs. Big mana again. All these creatures in the grave. Oh, I think... No. He was out of mana. So that couldn't have been a Songs that he cast. Because Max did fizzle. Didn't quite get there. Still has the Stinger in play. Rob at some unknown life total. Swinging in with the fish and casting the Edict. So let's see here. What's Max's plan here? Looks like he's had to consult for a second there. Maybe some jives off camera. We keep it pretty loose at Friday night Pauper. Just a cycled Ash Barrens. Gets a swamp into play here. 3 black mana. What's happening? He's pulling a ton of creatures out of his grave. Alright, he is casting this card. Cast the Haunted Misery. Remove X creature cards from your graveyard. Deals X damage to target player. Rob reading the card just like I did. Pretty amazed at it. Decides to counterspell. And that Pyroblast is going to counter that counterspell. And I think Rob's taking lethal here. And that is the game. Wow. Well, there you have it. The Haunting Misery getting to pull that game back for Max when he was out of those Drannith Stingers. Having a backup win condition is very useful sometimes. Thanks again, as always, for tuning into the channel. We really appreciate it. If this is your first time here, please consider going back and looking at some of our backlog. We have over 100 videos on the channel. And if you like it, go ahead and like some of those videos. And if you haven't already, maybe consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks as always to Spellhold Games for allowing us to record in their store. And if you are interested in the deck lists that were shown on this video, they are in the description of this video below. The next video on the channel is going to be round 2 of our Legacy match from May 31st. 5-color control versus white-red equipment. We'll see you then.